Today's story is about a boy whose own father locked him up in a cage meant for animals. He cut off his food and water, torturing him every single day. The cruel father told the boy this was punishment for his sins. But the truth was, the man was simply using God as an excuse to unleash his own evil on his child. The big question: can this boy escape from the hell his father has created? To find out, let's dive into a gripping psychological mystery thriller called Dogman. The movie begins with a man named Douglas. He's caught at a police checkpoint smuggling a bunch of dogs. He's badly injured, clearly beaten up by a gang. Police question him, but his case is too strange for them to figure out. So they transfer him in the middle of the night to Dr. Evelyn, a psychiatrist. When Evelyn meets Douglas, she asks why he was traveling with so many dogs. Douglas simply says, "These dogs are my family. They follow me wherever I go, even when I don't want them to. They're always with me." Evelyn wants to know what happened to him. Douglas knows that if he tells only part of the story, she'll just think he's crazy like everyone else. So he starts from the beginning. He was only 9 years old when he saw his father making pet dogs fight each other, starving them so they become violent just to survive. He did it for fun. Douglas's brother was just like their father, cruel, heartless. But Douglas wasn't like them. He cared for the dogs, and the dogs loved him back. One day, Douglas secretly fed the dogs his own food. That's why they stopped fighting. But his brother caught him and snitched to their father. At dinner, his father asked if he had fed the dogs, and Douglas, terrified, told the truth. His punishment? Being locked inside the same cage as the animals. His father told him, "These animals are your family now. This cage is your home." The man took out his rage by tormenting his own child, and watching Douglas suffer became his entertainment. Douglas's mother wanted to help, but she was powerless. One day, Douglas saw her leave the house and never return. He never went to school. He learned to read and write by looking at old magazines thrown into the cage. Evelyn is shocked to hear that Douglas spent years, so many that he lost count, living like this. His father even blamed him for his mother leaving. Things only got worse. His brother called him a lost sheep of God and told him death was the only salvation for his sins. Evelyn then asks, "If they locked you up like that, how did you escape?" Douglas explains that one day, a female dog gave birth. He hid the puppies from his father and brother, but his brother saw them nursing and told their dad, like always. Their father wanted to kill the puppies, but Douglas stood in his way. The man had a gun, and when Douglas refused to move, he shot him. The bullet hit Douglas's hand, slicing off one of his fingers. As he lay bleeding, his brother did nothing but pray and handed him a cloth to stop the bleeding. By now, Douglas had spent so long with dogs, he'd learned to communicate with them. He showed one dog a picture of a police car and asked it to carry his severed finger to the police and bring help. Incredibly, the dog succeeded. The police followed it back to the house, found Douglas in a cage, and rushed him to the hospital. His father and brother were arrested. Douglas said that was the best day of his life, though it would have been better if the bullet hadn't hit his spine. That one shot left him permanently disabled. Doctors later told him that his bone marrow was deteriorating, and he likely wouldn't live as long as a normal person. His cruel father was sentenced to 20 years in prison. His brother got 12. But 2 years in, the father couldn't handle life behind bars and committed suicide. The brother, on the other hand, got 4 years off for good behavior and was released after 8. But karma came quickly. The very dogs that had been in prison with Douglas found his brother and attacked him the moment he stepped out of prison. He died a brutal but deserved death. Evelyn then asks who hurt Douglas the night he was caught by police. Another flashback begins. A friend had come to see him, worried about a new gangster in town who was demanding protection money. At first, paying wasn't a big deal, but the thug kept raising the amount. His aunt had to sell off her belongings to pay, and now they had nothing left. Douglas tells him not to worry, he'll handle it. The next day, we see Douglas put his plan into action. He sends one dog into the gangster's bar carrying a phone, followed by another with strong jaws and sharp teeth. The first dog drops the phone on the gangster's table. When he answers, Douglas warns him, You can shake down anyone you want, but leave the laundry woman alone, or the dog will rip you apart. The gangster, terrified, agrees to the deal. Douglas had taught him a lesson, but now he had a new enemy. Evelyn asks if Douglas made any friends at the care home after being rescued. Douglas says it felt like being transferred from one cage to another. The other kids, they were broken too. No one had the strength to connect. Did he ever fall in love? At first, he says no. But then he talks about a woman named Salma. She was much older than him, taught him makeup, and would read him Shakespeare. With her, he felt alive, like he could be whoever he wanted to be. But he never confessed his feelings. One day, Salma left. She became an actress and started getting roles. Douglas saved every article about her. Years later, he went to see her perform and even bought an expensive ticket. After the show, Salma recognized him immediately. He gave her a handmade book. But before he could say anything else, another man approached. Salma's fiancé, the father of her child. Douglas's heart shattered. He realized that people might pity him, but no one could truly love him, especially not someone like Salma. That night, he broke down. His dogs gathered around him, sensing his pain. That was when Douglas knew only they truly loved him. Soon after, he found out the government was planning to shut down the dog shelter due to funding issues. He begged them not to, but the order came from the top, so he took all the dogs and ran. He found an abandoned building and made it his new home. He never saw Salma again. She had 2 children and left acting behind, a decision that ruined her. Her husband became an alcoholic, and her stardom faded. Douglas tried to find work, but no one wanted to hire a disabled man. He learned that pity has no place when money is involved. One day, he walked into an LGBTQ bar where men performed in drag. Thanks to Salma, Douglas knew how to perform, and he was comfortable wearing makeup. But the showrunner doubted anyone wanted to see a disabled man on stage. So Douglas stood up on his own 2 feet and proved him wrong. The other performers begged the showrunner to give him a chance. He went on stage and mesmerized everyone. After that, he performed every Friday and became a local star. And then he started using the dog for theft. Every night, his dogs broke into rich people's homes and stole valuable items. The number of burglaries rose, and when police checked CCTV footage, they saw Douglas. He was easy to find. One cop followed him home and demanded a share of the stolen loot. Douglas gave him everything. He didn't care about money, but before leaving, the cop mocked him, calling him insane. So Douglas gave the signal, and his dogs tore the officer apart. He had just confessed to murdering a cop. Douglas tells Evelyn that after that, he didn't want to kill anyone, but something unexpected happened last night. The gangster, the same one he'd warned before, broke into his home. He killed a girl and was coming after Douglas next. Douglas told the dogs to hide. He had set traps all over the house and managed to take out many of the thugs. But the gangster shot him with a machine gun. As the man aimed to kill him, his gun jammed. Douglas said, "Looks like even your God has abandoned you." And his dogs finished the job. The police arrived shortly after. With so many murders and Douglas the only survivor, they arrested him. Once again, he knew no one would take care of his dogs. So he tried to escape with them one last time. But this time he was caught. And that's how he ended up in front of Evelyn, telling her his entire story. Evelyn asks, "Why tell me all this?" Douglas replies, "Because we share one thing in common, pain. I saw it in your eyes the moment we met." Evelyn promises to help him however she can, but Douglas says, "You've already helped me more than you know. Maybe I just have to pay the final price to earn the right to be with my family." She leaves, but then his dogs attack the police station. They free him. Douglas stands once more and walks, staggering, toward a church. He looks up and says, "I confessed all my sins. Now judge me." He collapses. His dogs gather around him, his true family, the only ones who ever loved him. Douglas blamed God for everything he went through. And now, he breathed his last in front of him, hoping it meant the pain was finally over. Elsewhere, one of his dogs visits Evelyn's house. her abusive ex-husband used to torture her. Now, Douglas's dog will protect her and her daughter, just as they always protected him.